What's going on, guys? Adam back again with another Whiskey and Wins review, medical review. Guys, this is episode 2 of our medical series. If you didn't check out the first episode over on Whiskey and Wins reviews, it's on tourniquets. Great video. Highly recommend checking it out, guys, because tourniquets are really easy to learn how to use. They're easy to get some trainers and practice. Go get some training. Get some tourniquets. But with that being said, don't just get tourniquets, get an IFAK. There's plenty of great IFAKs out there nowadays. And they're coming with some really nice stuff inside. The problem is I get DMs asking me, hey, I bought this IFAK and there's all this cool stuff inside, but I have no idea how to use it. And if you learn how to use it, well, one, it can really save someone's life for real and or your life. So it's important, right? We bought the tourniquet. We stress medical, but with medical comes training. Like you cannot just buy the stuff just like a gun. You can't just buy the gun and be good at it. You have to get training. You have to practice. So we're going to go over the one thing I get the most questions on is chest seals. Where do I use them? How do I use them? When are they applicable? Basically, a chest seal is going to plug the cavity where our lungs and heart are. I'm going to keep this really simple. So under the diaphragm typically is right where the navel is, all the way up to the collarbone. That whole area, this is going to be where we would use a chest seal. The why we're using a chest seal is once we put a hole in that cavity, that hollow cavity where the lungs are and the heart is, there's a lot of moving pieces, right? Lungs are going like this, right? Diaphragm's expanding up and down. The heart's pumping. As soon as we put a hole into that, we are creating a vacuum. We're creating pressure against those moving parts, thus meaning the lung can't expand all the way, which in essence will eventually cause a tension pneumothorax or a hemotension pneumothorax or a hemopneumothorax. And all those things can happen. Don't worry about what they are. They're just really bad. Basically, things can't expand, things can't move. We can't get oxygen into the lungs. That means we can't get oxygen to the blood, which means we can't perfuse, which means we will die. That's like the basics of it. But let's not worry about the science behind it. Let's worry about how to use these things and where to use them. So we talked about it, right? So all the way around the body, circumferentially, all the way around, from navel all the way up to collarbone, that's going to be our spots to use them. And all we're going to do is basically rip this bad boy open. Little package right here. This is a combat medical. Hyphens are great. There's lots of TC3 approved ones. We talked about TC3 in the last video. Tactical Combat Casualty Care. The Committee of Tactical Combat Casualty Care, COTC, does approve certain things for the military to use. I highly recommend using those products. Most IFAKs you buy nowadays actually have those set products in there already, so you're typically good to go. But chest seal, either they come with 1 or 2 inside. If they come with 1 inside, I highly recommend having 2 of them. You're going to want at least 2. Maybe more because, well, if once a bullet goes in, it might go out. But I'll explain why you might want an extra couple in a second. But chest seals are pretty easy. There's really sticky, nasty, goopy stuff on there. All you're going to do is simply throw that right over the hole, slap it on, make sure it's sealed well, and then check for an exit wound. That's the important part. Make sure there's, if we don't get the exit wound, then we're not doing any good. So the exit wound might not always be behind them. It could have tumbled down into their groin. It could have tumbled up. So it could have went lots of places. Either way, let's find the exit. If it was, did tumble down into the groin, that'll be a video we'll talk about later on combat gauze and packing wounds. That would not be a chest seal. We wouldn't put a chest seal down on the groin area because that wouldn't really help the stopping of bleeding of an artery. And I've had combat medics do that before in training, and it's scary because they're not supposed to do that in training, not in real life. But those are typically the baby medics. We train them up, get them up to par. But either way, guys, this is used from navel up to collarbone, all the way around. That's where these are going to be used. So let's say we have someone really hairy. It's still going to stick to most people. These are pretty sticky. But if you have a bear and you need to get the hair off, well, what you could do is you could slap one on. You can rip it right off, rip that hair off. Boom, there you go, right? Wax job real quick. It ain't going to feel good, but they already have a hole in their chest. So what's a little bit more pain? That's their problem. And at that moment, you're trying to save their life. So then you can slap that guy on. Boom, good to go. They say you should slap these on the exhale. I'll be honest, in the midst of what you're going through and you've not trained on this stuff, just get the chest seal on. I'm not worried about when it gets placed. I don't care if it has a vent and some are ventless. TC3 is going back and forth on vents, no vents. Don't care in your situation. Chances are we're talking about range. We're talking about mass shooter. We're talking about get it on to stop the tension with thorax. Chances are it's still going to happen anyways, but you're slowing the process down in time for EMS to get there and then time for them to get to the hospital where it can be treated. We're not going to talk about needle decompression and all that stuff today. Maybe in a later video, but that's really advanced. I actually recommend going and getting hands-on in-person training for that kind of stuff, guys. So once again, chest seals, real simple. You slap it on, peel, right on the skin, slap them on, check for an exit wound. If it's one on the back, slap it on the back. If it's not on the chest area, find the exit wound. If it did come out and it's bleeding, well, that's another story for probably combat gauze most likely, but we'll wait for the next video for that. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but that's the down drain chest seals, guys. All you remember is about the navel all the way to the collarbone. If it goes in the chest, seal it up. Guys, this can save someone's life. I'm not joking. I do joke a lot, and I make a lot of funny references about plugging holes because I'm a 12-year-old, but at the end of the day, this is about saving lives. If you want to learn how to be good at putting holes into people, know how to stop them as well. This could save your life. This could save someone else's life. Get some training, guys. I do take this to heart. I am a combat medic. I have over a decade of experience. I've worked with some amazing doctors, PAs, special operations medics. I've had real training. I've had tons of amazing real training in things I can't talk about. I've had some real world experiences with actual combat casualties. Guys, get out there and practice. Get out there and train with this stuff. And for a lot of this stuff, it's hard to train on your own because you need someone knowledgeable. I'm going to list a bunch of companies below in the comments that I recommend going to get some training from. It's worth it. I mean, is it a little expensive? I mean, what's your life worth? Just saying. You're the same guy that buys a freaking $2,000 freaking rifle and then puts a freaking $3,000 scope on it. What's a couple $100 extra bucks since the medical to learn how to save your life for someone else's? Food for thought, guys. I appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to Whiskey and Windage Reviews, go right now, subscribe. Also, if you're not subscribed to the Whiskey and Windage podcast, it's a separate channel. And for some reason, all of you sub to this channel, but you don't sub really to that channel. So if you're subbed over here to Whiskey and Windage Reviews, go hop over to Whiskey and Windage podcast. Go sub over there. We're also on Spotify, Apple. Go sub over there as well if that's your jam. Guys, we appreciate it. We do have a weekly podcast that comes out every Tuesday. We are 2A. For the people, by the people. We talk about everything, no holds bar. We bring on people that maybe are opposing, maybe agree with us. Either way, we have real conversations with real people about the 2A. We want to bring this community together. And I can't think of another way to put it, but go sub, go watch. If you hate us, talk some shit in the comments. I love it, actually. If you don't like what I'm teaching here and you think this video is dumb, let me know. If you like it, let me know in the comments. Either way, guys, let me know in the comments. The good, the bad, the ugly, I appreciate you. Guys, stay dangerous, carry a weapon, but more importantly, carry some medical. I'll talk to you soon.